Hi everyone, Christina here. Welcome to day 3 of the holiday card series for 2019. Just a reminder that this holiday card series is my 11th year of doing the series, and you can tune in every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday through mid-December for a brand new card video I upload at 8 a.m. Mountain Time. Today's card is really fun. I'm going to be using a watercolor set from Altenew that I played with in one of my videos on Monday. 2 videos on Monday. One was the holiday card series, and the other was a video for the Altenew metallic watercolor blog hop. And I have just been in love with these watercolors. I think they're fantastic. They're right on par with Finetec in quality. Finetec has a little bit more shimmer, I think, but the Altenew definitely has that pearlescent look. That's just a spoiler alert if you haven't watched that other video. And if you want to catch that video, I'll have it linked up in the top corner up here. You can go ahead and watch that video where I do some lettering and some mail art using that Altenew metallic watercolor set. For today's video, for day 3, I'm breaking out that watercolor set again. I left it on my work surface and I've just been playing with it. So today's card, I use it, and then also in Friday's card, so you'll see it a couple times this week. So today's card, I'm using a stamp set from Memory Box. This stamp set is gorgeous. I've barely scratched the surface for the things you can do with it, and I'm going to do some heat embossing and then some painting over the top. Super simple. Let's get into it. The stamp set I'm using today is called Holiday Greenery, and it's from Memory Box. I really fell in love with this huge wreath image. I don't think I've ever seen a wreath quite this big in a stamp set. As I mentioned before, I'm going to be using the Altenew metallic watercolor set, and I'm going to be painting the wreath onto black cardstock. I love the look of these metallic paints on top of a dark surface, so I'm going to be using the Stonehenge black watercolor paper. I'm going to tear off a sheet and then trim it down, and I'll be doing all of my stamping straight onto the black watercolor paper. I'm using my MISTI stamp positioning tool just in case I want to stamp this more than once. I ended up not needing to stamp it more than once, but I got a really good impression the first time around. I'm prepping the area with an anti-static powder tool. I'm going to be doing some heat embossing on this black watercolor paper, and I just want to prevent any of the embossing powder going in areas where I don't need it or want it. I've inked up my stamp with VersaMark ink and then stamped that wreath image down onto the black watercolor paper. I'm then going to coat the entire stamped wreath with some Gilded embossing powder from Brutus Monroe. This is a really nice gold shade for embossing powder. It's one of my favorites. Sometimes gold embossing powders can be very yellow, but this one has a much more neutral gold tone, and I like to use it for a lot of my holiday projects. I hit that with my heat tool until it was smooth and melted, and then I went directly into the painting. And you'll notice I did not tape this down to a hard board. That's because this watercolor paper is very soft and it has a very cotton feel. And because it's so soft, if you tape it down to anything and then try to remove the tape later, it will tear the paper. So you have a couple options if you want to do something with a really wet wash across your paper, which would normally leave your paper very warped. You can either tape it down, but just know that it's going to tear, and you might have a better result if you use an X-Acto knife and cut it off the board. Or you can do what I'm doing today and not tape it down to anything and just hope for the best. This turned out to be a good choice because the paper didn't warp too much, so it turns out well. I'm using 3 different colors of green and kind of an aqua blue, and then also the red shade from the palette. And I'm going to turn on some music and you can enjoy it while I paint.
and hand and nature sing. Joy to the world, the Savior reigns. Let men their souls implore. Yeah, yeah. While fields and floods, rocks, hills and plains, repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy. He rules the world with truth and grace, and makes all the nations of the world prove the glories of his righteousness and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love, and wonders and wonders of his love. And heaven and nature sing.
After splattering on some of that silver pearl color, I decided I wanted to have a red piece of cardstock that matched the painting for my greeting. So I used that red shade and I painted it onto some black watercolor paper and then hit that with my heat tool until it was nice and dry. I'm using the Glad Tidings stamp from the greeting or from the stamp set, and I've stamped that in VersaMark ink. And I'm going to heat emboss this with that same Gilded embossing powder from Brutus Monroe, that gold embossing powder that I used on the wreath. I'm going to add a secondary greeting from the stamp set, and I wanted to have this large greeting for there first so that I could get the placement for the second greeting. So I just stamped that in more VersaMark ink and coated it with some additional embossing powder. After that was done, I used a ruler. This is actually one from My Sweet Petunia. It's one of their cut-a-line rulers. And I just used the edge like a regular ruler with a craft knife to cut this greeting down to kind of a longer rectangle. I'm now using the A7 Layers dies from Waffle Flower, and I'm going to die cut this painted piece so that it can go onto a 5x7 card. Using some tape and making sure that it is on the outside of what I'll be cutting. Like I mentioned before, any sort of adhesive does tear this black watercolor paper. It's sort of a delicate paper, so you have to treat it a little bit differently. So I taped that down and ran it through my die cutting machine, and then I'm left with the perfectly sized piece of watercolor paper to go on my 5x7 card. I created a 5x7 card base out of some Neenah Classic Crest Solar White cardstock. This is the 110-pound version. Put some foam adhesive on the back of my watercolor piece and also on the back of the greeting, and then assembled my card. And that is the finished card for today. I love how this turned out. All of that metallic watercolor, especially with the gold embossing, just looks so beautiful and neat. I'm very, very pleased with how this turned out. Thanks so much for watching the Day 3 video for the Holiday Card Series. I hope you guys enjoyed all of that painting. I think it turned out so beautiful. Like, it doesn't even show on camera how beautiful it is. It's absolutely gorgeous. So I hope you guys check out these watercolors for yourself and see what they're all about, because I find them really fascinating and fun to work with. On screen, I've got 3 more videos for you to check out. These are the 3 previous years of the holiday card series. And if you want to check out even farther back into the vintage holiday card series, I've got everything listed down below, all day 3 for the 10 previous years of the holiday card series. Thanks so much for watching today. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. And I will be back on Friday with day 4. Can't believe we're heading into day 4 already.